Good evening to those of you joining us from around the United States. Good morning, good afternoon to members of the community joining us from around the world. My name is Ari Masevsky, and I am here in Waltham, Massachusetts. And it is my pleasure to work in the Office of Study Abroad at Brandeis, where we work with students, staff, faculty, members of the community who are looking to study abroad as a part of their Brandeis education. I am one of the study abroad advisors in the office, and I have been at Brandeis for about a year and a half. I'm joined by three colleagues in the office. We're a four-person team. Alicia Cardwell is our interim director of study abroad. Ashley Trebasacci is the other study abroad advisor, and Erica Martinson is our senior department coordinator. We are privileged to have the responsibility of managing partnerships with study abroad programs around the world where Brandeis students can enhance their Brandeis education by spending a summer, a semester, or a year studying abroad as part of their time at Brandeis. I am also joined this evening by two of our study abroad ambassadors, Melissa Rothenberg and Cindy Goldman, and I would love for you guys to introduce yourselves as well. Melissa, if you want to start.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Melissa. I'm a senior. I'm majoring in business, econ, and environmental studies. And I'm also actually a part of a BA/MA program at Brandeis. And I went on the Brandeis in Copenhagen program, which is a Brandeis-led program, and we'll talk about it a little bit later.
Hi, I'm Sydney. I'm a junior. I'm majoring in HSSP and actually biology as of today, and a minor in Hispanic studies. I'm also on the softball team, and I went on the Summer in Mexico program.
Thank you both for being here. Sydney and Melissa will share a little bit about their study abroad experiences as we go through the presentation. And of course, we'll all be around to answer questions at the end. And Sydney, congratulations on your double major. Over the course of the next 25 minutes or so, I'm going to talk very broadly and very basically about study abroad at Brandeis. I'm going to talk about what it takes to choose a study abroad program, when students will study abroad. I'm going to talk about eligibility requirements. I'll talk about billing. I'll talk about some of the financial pieces of studying abroad. We'll go over our Brandeis-led programs, like what Melissa participated in, Brandeis in Copenhagen and Brandeis in Siena. We'll talk about the application process, and we'll talk about resources and support that our office and the university offers, both for students and for families. As a basic overview of study abroad, as we get started, Brandeis students study abroad in large numbers. About 40% of students at Brandeis will study abroad at some point during their time here. Students can study abroad for a semester. They can study abroad for an academic year. They can also study abroad on summer programs. If students are interested in studying abroad for a semester, they're eligible to do so during their 5th, 6th, and 7th semesters at Brandeis. So if you think about it, that's either semester of junior year or the fall of your senior year. Students are also eligible to study abroad during the summer, anytime after their first year at Brandeis. When people ask us about some of the reasons that folks choose to study abroad, it's important to emphasize how integral we feel studying abroad is to the overall Brandeis education, to stepping outside your comfort zone, to exploring different disciplines, exploring new opportunities, and really having the chance to experience everything that you can during your 4 years here at Brandeis. I think especially given the globally interconnected world that we're all living in and that we're all growing up in, it's such an important part of gaining language experience. It's such an important part of learning a little bit more about yourself and a little bit more about the world. The other, practical benefits of studying abroad relate to, what you plan to do with the rest of your life. Grad schools will love seeing study abroad on a resume. Employers will love seeing study abroad on a resume. And it's really part of a well-rounded education that you can get at Brandeis and supplement with your time abroad. As I was saying, our office is responsible for managing the study abroad programs and partnerships that we have around the world. Brandeis has an approved programs list of a little over 200 study abroad programs around the world. I think as of right now, they're in 59 different countries. And we have programs and students who study abroad on every continent except Antarctica. and we're working on that one. Students will study abroad from every major, every minor, from all different types of backgrounds, and I'm happy to talk a little bit more about what we what distinguishes different study abroad programs as students are starting to look into their options and decide what they want to do for that semester or summer while they're abroad. The reason that we have an approved programs list and the reason that our office maintains it is that every program that students are going to study abroad on is going to be vetted by Brandeis. First of all, for academic quality, we'll be looking to make sure that the emphasis when you're studying abroad is on the study. You know, while you're studying abroad, you remain a Brandeis student. You are still getting credit at Brandeis, and you will continue to take classes that would be up to the standards of classes you're taking here at Brandeis. But the other really important reason that we vet every program that students participate on is to provide that health and safety support, is to make sure that the folks taking care of you abroad, the folks providing those opportunities and experiences for you abroad, are organizations that we have an established relationship with, that we know and we trust to take care of Brandeis students, to take care of members of the community while they're abroad. There are several different types of study abroad programs when we're thinking about sort of what experience you're looking to have. These words will characterize some of the programs that we have. Some of the important questions that folks ask as we're starting to think about what you're looking to do when you're studying abroad is who you're looking to have in the classroom with you. So for example, on a direct enrollment program, this is a program where it's often facilitated by a study abroad provider or program partner that we have, but they're placing students directly into courses at universities abroad, right? So they're programs where students are taking courses at the University of Sydney, at King's College London, at the University of Botswana, all around the world. There are also some programs where the primary academic component of the program takes place in the company of solely other study abroad students, right? At a study center program, these are programs where organizations have basically a footprint in a city or a country somewhere around the world. And they will offer their own courses that fulfill Brandeis credit, but they'll integrate that cultural immersion in other ways, through housing, through extracurricular experiences. And we can talk a little bit more about those. Other programs will have aspects like an internship for those who are looking to get a little bit more of that professional experience while they're studying abroad. An internship abroad is a great way to do it, and a way that you can do it for credit. And there are also a number of programs that have field study options, where you're in the classroom, but you're also stepping outside the classroom and taking on that experiential learning component. The link down at the bottom is also something that Melissa or Sydney or Ashley can put into the chat, and is a link from our website to look more at the study abroad opportunities that we offer here at Brandeis. Some of the other questions that we'll often be talking to students about as they're looking to choose a type of program are what type of housing situation do you picture yourself in while you're studying abroad? Are you looking to live in a residence hall, in a dorm, in apartments in the city? Or are you looking maybe to think about a homestay, living with a local family, a vetted local family, where meals are included and language immersion is incredibly important. Other questions may relate to what language the classes are in. There are certainly many, many opportunities, and we encourage students to take advantage of opportunities to learn a foreign language while they're abroad. But there are also programs where you'll be taking a number of courses in English. And it depends what your comfort is with the local language and what you're looking to do. Quickly to review a few of the eligibility requirements for a year or a semester abroad, and keep in mind that these apply to a year or a semester abroad. So as I mentioned before, students will need to be a junior or a first semester senior in order to study abroad during the semester. We also require students have a 3.0 GPA and need to be in good academic and judicial standing with the university. It's also worth mentioning foreign language requirements. As I was talking about, there are many programs where you can take courses in a foreign language, but Brandeis feels that taking courses in a foreign language is one of the most important things that you can do while you're studying abroad. And so everybody who studies abroad from Brandeis will be required to take one course in the local language while they're there, at least one. Now, for a lot of locations around the world, that might mean that you're taking the intro course to the language if you have no experience in it whatsoever. You know, we have an amazing program in Iceland, and we don't have a lot of members of our community who speak Icelandic, but we will still have all of our students taking Intro to Icelandic because it's such an important part of integrating into the community that you're spending a semester a year in, and having the chance to really interact with people on the ground and not siloing yourself in just with the other study abroad students. There are a few countries where there is a language prerequisite. So if you're looking to study abroad in countries that speak French, Italian, Spanish, or Hebrew, we do require that students have taken 2 semesters or the equivalent of that language at Brandeis prior to studying abroad in that country. I will say about eligibility requirements, if you have questions, if you're looking to learn more about these requirements, about your options for study abroad, please do still come talk to us. Any of the advisors in the office would be happy to meet with you. While you're studying abroad, you're going to take a full course load. You're going to take 16 credits. So the credits that you are taking while you're studying are going to count towards graduation. They're going to fulfill elective credit. They can fulfill general university requirements or core requirements. And they're also going to potentially be able to fulfill major or minor requirements. One of the roles of our office on campus is to maintain those relationships with academic departments around campus. And it's up to each academic department to decide whether they're going to allow certain courses from abroad to count towards their respective major or minor. And as you're applying for study abroad, we will work through the process with you of talking to the study abroad liaison in the department, the member of the faculty who makes those decisions as to whether courses can count towards your major or your minor. But just for everyone to know, students in every major, every minor at Brandeis have received course credit towards their major or their minor for courses that they took while they were abroad. To touch on health and wellness, which we talked about before, so of course, before anything else, the safety and security of the members of our community who are studying abroad is the most important thing to our office, to folks at Brandeis, and to the study abroad programs we work with. Our office will coordinate a pre-departure workshop to talk to students before their departure for study abroad about some of the things that they need to know in order to keep themselves safe, but also in order to acclimate themselves with the new society, the new culture that they're going to be spending the semester or the year or the summer in. We'll also hold a reentry workshop upon students' return from study abroad to work through some of the things that they're thinking, some of the things that they're dealing with, and some of the ways that they're processing the experience that they had while they were studying abroad. Our office is here and regularly monitors things going on around the world, helps to ensure that we know what's going on in all of the places where we have students and are able to respond and help should any students need our support. It's also important to emphasize that one of the reasons that we work with so many study abroad programs around the world is because they are on the ground, they have the staff and the resources and the expertise in order to offer support to students in real time when things happen. You know, it's obviously not something that anybody hopes for, but it's a fact that while you're studying abroad, life happens. Things will happen. You will get sick. You will, have an injury. You will, need mental health support. Whatever it might be. And it's both our role and the program's roles to make sure that you have access to the support that you need. As it relates to health and safety, it seems only pertinent to touch on COVID-19 for a moment. So, of course, the global pandemic has seriously interfered with students' ability to study abroad, to take part in these programs. We continue to monitor things going on with the pandemic around the world and also in individual countries where we have programs. Brandeis students have not studied abroad since last March. We suspended the programs that were to occur over the summer and in the fall and now in this coming spring semester. We remain optimistic about programs for summer 2021 and into the future, but are certainly happy to talk to you and talk to your families about some of the questions or concerns you might have about that. I think, it's really important and something that we are spending a lot of our time talking to folks about right now. It's important to note that everybody has so many things going on, and we really see our role as to be supportive and flexible and help you make an educated decision about what you want to do, knowing that there are so many reasons that you may or may not be wanting to study abroad right now. It might be a personal health issue. It might be an immunocompromised family member who you would be coming home to. And we're here to talk about some of these things and help you make the decision that you're going to make about studying abroad. To touch briefly on finances for study abroad. So while you're studying abroad during the semester or the academic year, you remain a Brandeis student, and students will continue to pay Brandeis tuition and required fees while they're studying abroad. The easiest way to think about this is that when you're studying abroad for the semester, you're going to receive two bills. You'll receive one bill from Brandeis for your Brandeis tuition and the required student fees. And then you'll also receive a bill from your study abroad program, which will include the costs for room and board, as well as other associated fees that the program might be charging that are non-tuition costs. Obviously, you're not going to be paying room and board costs to Brandeis when you're not here. One of the things that's important to note about the fact that you continue to pay Brandeis tuition is that financial aid and grants that you have towards your tuition during the semester are almost always transferable to your study abroad semester or your study abroad year. And of course, myself or Ashley or any of the staff in the office would be happy to talk to you about your specific situation. It's important to remember that tuition and room and board are not the only things that you're going to be thinking about when you're planning to study abroad, right? You're going to need to budget for a flight. You'll need to be budgeting for fees for visas if you need to get one. Some programs will include meals, some will not in their housing arrangements. And so that's something else to budget for. And when we're talking about your plans to study abroad, we will of course be going over all of this with you. The final thing to note is that there are a large number of study abroad scholarships available, both through Brandeis, the Sacker Study Abroad Scholarships, but also through national organizations that Brandeis students apply for and win every year. Ashley will be hosting two different sessions about financing study abroad on Thursday. One of those is an overview of financing study abroad at 12 o'clock on Thursday. And then at 3 o'clock, she'll be hosting an application workshop for study abroad scholarships. So anybody who's interested in scholarships or more about the financial processes should definitely note those on your calendar. And if you're not able to make it, please reach out to us because we'd be happy to talk to you about it individually. To touch quickly on summer study abroad opportunities as well. Summer study abroad opportunities are certainly available and popular at Brandeis. The programs will typically last between 5 and 8 weeks. Some will last a little bit longer. With programs like these, students will typically be earning 8 credits. There are some programs that you'll either earn 4 or 12, but most of the programs you'll earn 8. When you're studying abroad over the summer, you'll pay all program charges directly to the program. Brandeis assesses a $400 off-campus study fee for summer study abroad, but tuition and housing and all of the other fees go direct to the study abroad program. And so the cost of these programs will range pretty widely. And we're happy to talk to you about your individual situation and what you're looking to do over the summer. To highlight 2 programs that are Brandeis owned and operated, we have our Brandeis-led study abroad programs. Brandeis in Copenhagen is an 8-credit, 5-week program in Copenhagen, Denmark, where students take courses in business and economics and fulfill requirements towards the business and econ majors as well as IGS. international and global studies. We also offer a program in Siena in Italy. Brandeis in Siena is a very intensive art program focused on studio art and art history. And these programs are both for 8 credits over the summer from about the beginning of July to the middle of August. When you're ready to apply for study abroad, most students, not all, but most students will have 2 applications that they will need to complete. The first application will be to Brandeis for approval to study abroad from the university. We'll talk to you, we'll review your motivation for studying abroad, what you're looking to do while you're abroad. We'll review the courses that you intend to take. And there are some programs that will also require a recommendation. Most of the time after you apply to Brandeis, you will also fill out a program application. And this would be for all of those various approved programs that we have that are run by other organizations, where you will be accepted into the actual program run by Boston University or the Institute for Study Abroad, or whoever it may be. It's important to keep deadlines in mind as you're thinking about applying to study abroad. Brandeis has 1 deadline for the entire upcoming academic year. If you're interested in studying abroad during the fall 2021, spring 2022, or the coming academic year, your application to Brandeis to study abroad will be due on March 4th. If you're interested in studying abroad during summer 2021, we'll be accepting applications up to March 18th. And we're certainly happy to answer any questions and meet with you when you are ready to do so. We've talked generally about some of the resources and support that's provided by our office and by the programs when you're looking into your options for studying abroad. But just as a summary, our office will be hosting events. Our office hosts study abroad ambassadors, returnees who have studied abroad and are eager to share their experiences with other Brandeis students thinking about it. Every student who studies abroad at Brandeis will meet with myself or Ashley or one of the other staff in the office. And we will obviously be providing support to students on all kinds of things that they are looking to talk about, both before they study abroad, while they are abroad, and of course, after they return. In the last couple minutes, I would love to hear from Melissa and Sydney a little bit about your experiences and any reflections that you think are important to share about your study abroad experiences. Melissa, if you want to go first.
Yeah, of course. So I always start off, I know this is super corny, but I'm so happy that I went abroad and it truly changed me for the better. That was actually my first time ever leaving the country and the East Coast. So it was certainly something that was outside of my comfort zone, but I'm very glad that I pushed myself to do it because I really grew as an individual and was able to figure out like living on my own. So as for academics, I took 2 courses over the summer, a behavioral economics course and a micro theory course. And they were certainly challenging as they were 2 real courses squished into 6 weeks, but it was still a really great experience. And I'm happy I did it because it helped me get ahead in my major. And it's actually one of the main reasons that I'm able to triple major and truly take advantage of the academics provided by Brandeis. A lot of times students ask us about living arrangements. So on my program, I basically lived in like a local Danish apartment, very similar to something here. And for me, it was really great because I had to figure things out for my own, like grocery shopping and local transportation. But again, it helped me grow as an individual. As for health and safety, I always felt really safe in Copenhagen. It was a great city to be in. And, as Ari mentioned earlier, sometimes things do go wrong. I did have a friend that needed to go to the hospital, but Brandeis and our partner organization, DIS, were fantastic in helping us in the situation. They really were on top of it and really provided the resources. The last thing I'll just touch on really quickly is visiting other countries, as a lot of students obviously want to do that when they go abroad. Unfortunately, it might look a little different because of the current COVID-19 situation, but I was able to visit another country during my 6 weeks abroad, and it was really like a lot of fun. And I know kids love doing that when they go abroad too. So hopefully they'll be able to. So if you have any questions about Brandeis and Copenhagen or anything I said, feel free to chat me, and we'll also have questions at the end.
So I'll share a little bit about my program. Mine looks a little different than Melissa's. I did a homestay program. So I lived with one of the local families. My program, you don't need to know Spanish before, but my family spoke no English. So it was great to have that sort of Spanish background. I took 2 classes while I was there. Also, I took a contemporary public health class, as well as a medical Spanish class. My classroom was actually the hospital that we were doing a lot of our shadowing in. We got to go to Cuba for a week as part of the program and talk to different people in the healthcare system there. Learned all about Mexican healthcare, Cuban healthcare, as well as American healthcare. It was a very small group. There were 11 of us in my whole group. We got to travel around Mexico and see like the different sites there. The weekly breakdown kind of looked like class every day. There were 2 days of excursions led by the program. And then we kind of got to explore when we weren't studying or doing things led by the program. Felt super, super safe while I was there. There were really no problems with that. Yeah, that was kind of a lot of, it kind of led me down the life path that I want, kind of narrowed my focus in my education and really just gave me a better understanding of what I wanted to do in the future. So again, like if you have any questions about IFSA, my program, or just anything relating to the HSP major, feel free to message me, and I can also send my email in the chat.
Thank you both, and thank you for what you do to help support study abroad at Brandeis and in our office. This is Study Abroad Express, and we promised you a 30-minute info session on study abroad, and it is 8:29, so we provided that. We are happy to stick around for as long as folks have questions. If you'd like to put them in the chat, you're more than welcome to ask anything. We're also available by email, by phone. You can find us obviously on social media and at brandeisstudy.edu/abroad. It's really a pleasure for us to get to work with students and families who are looking to learn more about study abroad opportunities as a part of their Brandeis education. And we really look forward to working with folks who are looking to learn more about what that looks like. So if anyone has any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. One of the questions that we received at the info session yesterday that I'll just address off the top relates to COVID-19 and what we're expecting for study abroad moving into the next 12 months, 18 months or so. We continue to monitor what is happening around the world, and at this point are optimistic that it will be possible to study abroad again starting in the summer of 2021. Obviously, you know, the situation is unprecedented, and we're very open about the fact that things can change. If you're interested in studying abroad during the summer, the fall, or the spring, it's important to keep the deadlines to apply in mind, including that March 4th deadline for the fall semester of 2021 or the spring semester of 2022. This is not, you know, a formal commitment that you are indeed going abroad, but it's the beginning of a process with our office, and it's important to stick to that deadline. And we'll obviously work with you and keep in touch with you as you consider your options and as you think about what is going to be right for you and for your family. I see another question about a list of approved programs in the chat. So there is a list of approved programs. The list of approved programs can be found at brandeis.edu/abroad. And there was a link that was sent around, I believe Sydney sent it towards the beginning of the presentation that will take you straight to that website. But Sydney or Melissa, I don't know if you mind sending it again. As for a summer medical program on Handshake, I think it depends on the program. We do work collaboratively with the Hyatt Career Center, who are a little bit more focused on pre-professional opportunities, internships, career advising. And so I definitely recommend talking to both of our offices. If it's a program that you're looking to get academic credit for, you probably want to come and talk to us. But by knowing more about the program, we certainly could answer that question and are happy to be in touch through Abroad at Brandeis Study DU. And another question that I see coming through is about support for parents who might be anxious when students are abroad. Of course, that support exists. It exists through our office as well as the Study Abroad program. And we're happy to begin that conversation with you and with your child while they are still here or wherever they're studying abroad from. And continue that conversation over the course of their semester abroad, because I know that this can be a new experience for everyone. And so we would be more than happy to have that meeting. So if anybody has any other questions, you're always welcome to reach out to us at Abroad at Brandeis Study DU. You can find me, you can find Ashley, Cindy, Melissa, and all of the rest of our staff and Study Abroad ambassadors on our website. And otherwise, we will say good evening, good morning, good afternoon. It was a pleasure to talk to you this evening, and thank you very much for your interest in studying abroad.